Hello and welcome to my latest video. So I thought after doing Jack Britton yesterday I had to do Ted Kid Lewis next. Okay, a fellow welterweight champion. They swapped the title between each other. You know, mentioning these two names together, it's a bit like bacon and eggs, Franks and beans, politics and corruption, UK and two-tier policing. You know, things that just naturally are synonymous with each other. So what I wanted to do is add Ted Kid Lewis in. Okay, I'll join my welterweight playlist alongside fellow great welterweight Jack Britton, his great rival. So let us go through the career of, in my rankings, the UK's greatest fighter of all time, Ted Kid Lewis. So beginning with his main opponents. Ted Kid Lewis fought Jack Britton, as I highlighted yesterday, 19 times. Ted Kid Lewis scored 7 wins with 10 losses and 2 draws from that insane fight series. Next up is Petty Graves. Ted Kid Lewis fought him on 3 occasions, beating him all 3 times. And he also fought, like Jack Britton did, Mike Glover. Ted Kid Lewis fought a trilogy against Glover, winning 2 and losing 1. He also defeated former lightweight champion Willie Ritchie before also having a 5-fight series with former middleweight champion Mike O'Dowd. Ted Kid Lewis scored 2 wins with 3 losses and no draws from that 5-fight series. Ted Kid Lewis also fought a draw to the great lightweight champion Benny Leonard, before also gaining a win over former champion Matt Wells. He also fought in his career Georges Carpentier. Yes, he challenged Georges Carpentier for World Light Heavyweight title and the European Heavyweight title, albeit he was wiped out, okay, because he rather sillily, during the clinch, started looking at the ref to his side and Carpentier clocked him with the right hand and laid him out. Protect yourself at all times. He also fought and lost, okay, to the great Maxi Rosenblum before also losing a singular fight to the great middleweight fighter Mike Gibbons. Next up is Frank Moody. Okay, Ted Kid Lewis defeated him in a singular fight. He then fought UK's former top 10 middleweight contender Roland Todd, scoring 1 win with 1 loss from those 2 fights. Next up is contender Tommy Milligan. Okay, Ted Kid Lewis fought him on 2 occasions, suffering 2 defeats, and he also fought and lost to former top 10 light heavyweight contender Charlie Belanger before closing out slide 1 with a 5-fight series with one of his early rivals, Joe Madden, scoring 3 wins, no loss and 2 draws. So there is slide 1 for Ted Kid Lewis, 15 names but a lot more than 15 fights. So on to slide 2, he fought Jack Guion, okay, scoring a singular win. Ted Kid Lewis also defeated Darky Haley, also in a singular fight. He then fought the capable young Joe Brooks twice, okay, scoring 1 win and 1 loss. He then also scored singular wins over Fred Halsband and Sam Russell, before then fighting a draw, okay, to Nat Williams. Next up is Herb Kid McCoy. Ted Kid Lewis fought him on 2 occasions, scoring 1 win, 1 loss and no draws. And then he goes into a run of really tough contenders. The first is Joe Shagru, okay, an excellent fighter. Ted Kid Lewis defeated him in a singular fight. He also fought and defeated a great UK fighter, Charlie White, also in a singular fight, before then defeating the excellent Joe Mandot. 3 excellent names there on the bounce. He then also defeated the capable Milburn Sailor in a singular fight, before fighting Lockport Jimmy Druffy in a trilogy. Ted Kid Lewis won the trilogy, scoring 2 wins with 1 loss and no draws. He also fought a draw with former middleweight contender Willie Brennan, before then having his latest big fight series, this time against Soldier Barfield. Ted Kid Lewis fought him 6 occasions and they fully split the 6-fight series into 2 wins, 2 loss and 2 draw. Ted Kid Lewis's second slide, okay, ends with a singular win over Harry Stone. So that is slide 2 for Ted Kid Lewis. Okay, when we go on to slide 3, there's just more names. Okay, he fights the Akron Flash, Johnny Griffiths, 7 times, scoring 4 wins with 1 loss and 2 draw. Griffiths was an excellent contender. He also fought and defeated Sam Robidoux in a singular fight, before then Ted Kid Lewis fought a trilogy against Jimmy O'Hagan, winning all 3 fights. Next up is Joe Egan. Ted Kid Lewis scored 1 win and 1 loss from 2 fights, and then he scored singular wins over capable contenders Albert Bedoud and Italian Joe Gans. Italian Joe Gans had one of them really tough career. He then fought a draw, okay, to contender of the time Battling Ortega, before then fighting former middleweight contender, excellent contender Brian Downey, scoring 1 win and 1 draw from 2 fights. He then also scored 2 wins over Johnny Tillman before also scoring 2 wins over Tommy Robson. Next up is Walter Moore. Okay, Ted Kid Lewis defeated him in a singular fight. He then twice fought Steve Latzo, went unbeaten against him with 1 win and 1 draw. Ted Kid Lewis then scored singular wins over KO, Willie Loughlin and Gus Platts. Ted Kid Lewis closed out slide 3 of his main opponents with a 4-fight series of which he won all 4 fights against the capable Johnny Basham. So there is slide 3 for Ted Kid Lewis. Each slide has 15 names, but each of his slides had way more than 15 fights. To my knowledge, Ted Kid Lewis has the most listed fights under this style that I do of any UK fighter. So, on we go to our next slide, 4th and final slide. Ted Kid Lewis defeats Jack Perry in a singular fight before losing 2 fights against the excellent contender Augie Ratner. He then scores singular wins over Jack Bloomfield, Boy McCormick and Bruno Frettini before then also gaining 2 wins over Francis Charles. Ted Kid Lewis closes out with a singular loss to the excellent Len Johnson. So there are Ted Kid Lewis's major opponents. I've listed there. So from that, Ted Kid Lewis is, I believe, the only UK fighter to hit over 100 fights, as I kind of alluded to. Now, he has got a total of 111 fights listed there, of which Ted Kid Lewis has won 66, lost 31 and drawn 14. And remember, Ted Kid Lewis came from around the flyweight region. Twice was undisputed welterweight champion. But as well as that, he captured local or regional titles, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, you name it. Ted Kid Lewis was a very accomplished fighter. So, from his main opponents, we now go to the stats for Ted Kid Lewis. And like Jack Brayton, he scores some crazy stats. Ted Kid Lewis scored 77 knockouts, way more knockouts than Jack Brayton, although he was generally a more aggressive fighter. Brayton was more of a box fighter. Ted Kid Lewis was applied pressure. The fight series between them, even though no footage is public, it is rumoured that some fight film exists of them. But yeah, that 19-fight series in its entirety with all the fights on 4K in black and white. I would love to have that fight series, to watch the fights, to see how they change and adapt to each other by fight 5 and fight 8 and fight 12 and fight 15. It'd be a fascinating journey to go through all of them, I am sure. So he scored those 77 knockouts. Kid Lewis scored 39 knockouts in 3 rounds or less. He also scored 16 first round wins. Now, Ted Kid Lewis scored 2 KOs against champions. He scored 0 against Hall of Famers and 0 against pound for pounders. And Ted Kid Lewis scored 1 KO against a rated fighter. Although, like with Jack Brayton and many others, his numbers are significantly reduced, being a pre-rating era fighter. Now, Ted Kid Lewis fought a mass total of career rounds, coming to 2,635. Kid Lewis also fought 321 title fight rounds, so he's in that exclusive club of just more than a dozen fighters who have hit over 300 title fight rounds in their career in my database. He also fought totals of 372 rounds against champions, 305 rounds against Hall of Famers, and 341 rounds against pound for pound fighters. Now, Ted Kid Lewis fought 81 rounds against top 10 fighters, 39 rounds against top 3 fighters, and 14 rounds against ring champions, albeit those numbers are heavily reduced due to the pre-rating era having no ratings. His numbers would be, like Jack Brayton, astronomical. So on we go, to the slide against champions. Now, Ted Kid Lewis had 35 fights against champions, including 16 wins, 16 losses and 3 draws, so a split record against champions. He beat 6 champions individually. They were Jack Brayton, Petty Graves, Mike Glover, Willie Ritchie, Mike O'Dowd and Matt Wells, and he scored knockouts over 2 individual champions, Petty Graves and Matt Wells, from the 6 he defeated overall. And when we go to the Hall of Fame category, Ted Kid Lewis had 29 fights against Hall of Famers, including 10 wins, wins, 16 losses and 3 draws. He defeated 3 individual Hall of Famers. They were Jack Britton, Willie Ritchie and Mike O'Dowd. So he defeated a lightweight Hall of Famer, a welterweight Hall of Famer and a middleweight Hall of Famer, showing that weight move in the Hall of Famers he beat. Now next up, okay, he defeated none of those Hall of Famers in sight distance, so Ted Kid Lewis has no knockouts against Hall of Famers individually. And when we go to the pound for pound slide for Ted Kid Lewis, he had 32 fights against pound for pounders, scoring 12 wins with 17 losses and 3 draws. He defeated 4 individual pound for pound fighters. They were Jack Britton, Mike Glover, Willie Ritchie and Mike O'Dowd, and Ted Kid Lewis scored 0 knockouts over pound for pound rated fighters individually. So on we go to our next slide, rated opponents. Now Ted Kid Lewis obviously has vastly reduced numbers, so he only has 8 fights against rated opponents, including 2 wins, 5 loss, 1 draw. He has 4 fights against top 3 rated opponents, including no win, 3 loss, 1 draw, and he has 2 fights against ring champions with a record of a loss and a draw from those 2 fights. Just to give you an idea, Jack Britton would have been a ring champion and he fought him 19 times. Mike O'Dowd would have been a ring champion and he fought him 5 times. The number of fights against ring champions, fighters like him and Britton would have had is insane. When you look at it, when you factor that, is it still Ray Robinson the highest with 26? But Britton would have beat that, and Ted Kid Lewis would have been pushing to beat that as well. Just to give you an idea how many top level fights they had against top level fighters. So Ted Kid Lewis only defeated 2 individual rated fighters, again vastly reduced, and knocked out 1 individual rated fighter. So when we go on to the title fight slide where titles were on the line, Ted Kid Lewis had 30 fights in total. He won 14 of them, scoring 12 losses and 4 draws, and he made 10 title defences. Now Ted Kid Lewis scored 0 title fight knockouts, and he also scored 0 wins against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters and ring champions in title fights, obviously, you know, with him being pre-rating era. And against champions, Hall of Famers and pound for pounders, whereas Jack Britton matched Ray Robinson with 9 apiece, Ted Kid Lewis also matches Robinson and Britton with 9 wins against champions in title fights, but he's slightly less in wins against Hall of Famers and pound for pounders in title fights than Robinson and Britton, scoring 8 in total in both categories. So on we go to our final slide. This former flyweight who challenged in his career for the European heavyweight title and the world light heavyweight title, as well as a plethora of world welterweight title fights, as well as all the regional titles, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, etc. You are looking to me at the most accomplished UK fighter, the biggest UK weight mover, tied to the accomplishments as well, tied to the resume. It's not only that he was a 2-time undisputed champion, which is rare amongst British fighters, but he's also moved all the weight, pretty much from flyweight to heavyweight. He's also fought or defeated Hall of Famers, you know, from lightweight to light heavyweight. I mean, he really has fought across. And you know, when you look at the number of defeats against Hall of Famers, you have to remember Ted Kid Lewis came up from lightweight, was a 2-time welterweight champion. He lost to a Hall of Fame light heavyweight. He also lost in a fight series to a Hall of Fame middleweight. He also lost 10 fights to a Hall of Fame welterweight, who also himself came up in weight a long way, just not as much as Ted Kid Lewis. So when you factor all these things in, you know, this is why he's the greatest UK fighter in my mind. So the titles won. Ted Lewis was a 2-time holder of the world welterweight title. He was also a 2-time lineal welterweight champion of the world and 2-time undisputed welterweight champion of the world. So all-time great fighter, top 10 ranked fighter all time in my rankings, the greatest UK fighter, just a incredible fighter, spirited, hearty, you know, came forward, would fight almost anyone. Ted Kid Lewis is without doubt the greatest UK fighter of all time. I'm the Boxing Librarian. I'm out for now.